Hi everybody, I'm Leeway from AMC Studios. This is the... Should we start? Are you ready? Hi everybody, I'm Leeway from AMC Studios. This is the podcast where we dig and dive deep into the scene and the culture of what it means to be in the media industry and hear from the people who've had a hand in building it. Welcome to Tea Talk with AMC Studios. Okay, so if you're watching on YouTube or like any video streaming platforms, you'll see that our setup is a bit fancier than usual. We have this white table that looks like we're gonna be like in some political debate. But we still have our tea because tea talk. And we also have two very beautiful and esteemed guests with me. We're gonna be doing more of these, like kind of like delving into like specific topics with like the people from AMC Studios. And we'll still be talking to guests and everything because we enjoy that a lot. But so today we're gonna be just doing things a bit different. But y'all want to introduce yourselves?
So hi, I'm Syaz and I'm an intern from AMC Studios and I am a 3D artist and an animator.
Hi, I'm Nadhirah and I'm an intern from AMC Studios. I mainly do concept art and storyboarding.
Yes. Okay, thank you for coming down today, guys. Syaz and Nadhirah. We'll be talking. Do y'all know what we'll be talking about today?
No.
Y'all know?
No.
We'll be talking about insecurities as creatives. So we have mentioned this topic and talked about it briefly before in like previous episodes with like I think Bless Seven Up and Josh Wade. But we've only ever like really scratched the surface and we never really like dive deep inside before. So I figure out why not, right? Since like we have the opportunity and chance now, and I believe a lot of people hearing this will also have a lot of insecurities because it's very human and it's very normal. And most people like go through insecurities. And so I think to start, why not we go across the desk, starting with Syaz to like share some of the insecurities that we have encountered personally as a creative.
Obviously not good enough. Always the opinions from everyone really it's always very pressurizing lah, and especially hearing from your friends as well, your lecturers, it's hard to balance lah. There are times where I ask myself whether are my friends complimenting my work because of me because I'm their friend, or they actually really think that my work is good lah. But obviously I try to get that out of my mind, and I trust my friends enough that they actually what every time they share their opinion about my work, it's sincere lah, and then I'll take that as a constructive feedback and then see how far I can work on it.
Right. Okay. Any like specific instances?
Okay. So definitely there are some, but like mainly the one that recently happened was we had a portfolio module recently, and then I had a 3-part assignment, right? And I posted that on my portfolio. So my lecturer, one of the lecturer that taught me that module, said that the first artwork that I did was actually really nice.
Right.
But to me, it was the worst one. It was gross. It was disgusting.
No.
Because I didn't know what I was doing.
Right.
And then, not to brag, but I did get a good grade for that. So, but as time progresses, I feel like I understand what I'm doing, and then I actually like the other two artwork that I did. Definitely not the first one, obviously, but I don't see why my lecturer liked my first one.
Right.
I really didn't understand that. Am I dumb? Am I
No.
like?
You're not dumb.
So and then you start to question what are the criteria are they looking for in the assignment lah. So
Right.
I really at the point I was baffled. I was
Baffled.
I was baffled. I was confused, and I asked my friends, is this actually a good work? And they were like, no, there are better works that you've done before. And then I was like, right.
Right.
But again, it's the school, so I mean, I got a good grade for it, but so I'm not complaining. But that's where I'll start to confuse myself lah. What is a good work? What is actually really a good work?
Right.
Their standard.
Yeah, I think picking from what you said, I think because creative work is so subjective, and I have speak about this to Bless Seven Up before, and they've like given like advice, but I only like really, we only spoke about it like very vaguely, but like I feel like one insecurity that I've always had is like, because it's like creative work is so subjective, whether it's like music or like motion graphics or any creative work that I've done, even with TikTok, honestly, like, it's like, do you like kind of like go with what the mass audiences like want, or like do you like follow your heart and just go? Because a lot of people, they always say, I mean not a lot of people, but like I've heard this before, like, you know, ever since I started like doing creative, or ever since I've been like interested in it, like a lot of people are just like, oh, you know, like you should do what's popular, or you should do what people want first, and then get money, and then after that express yourself. But then to me it's like, oh, shouldn't, you know, creative work. I mean, I personally, I wanted to start doing creative work because I wanted like avenue to like express myself. So then I'm just like, oh, isn't that a bit hypocritical and just contradicting to what I want to do? So that's just some of the insecurities that I have. But yeah, Nadhirah, how about you?
I think personally, one thing that contributes to my insecurities is mainly like pressure. Basically like pressure and expectations from other people.
Mm-hmm.
So like other people expect you to like be able to do this. Some people expect you to become this, and then you're like, in your mind you're like, should I become this? Or should I you know what I mean? Like some, like the people around you just expecting you to become like that, and then because of that eventually you just kind of like not want to do it anymore. Or like you just put it off and like just let it sit there. Like for example, like creative work, like for example my own personal projects I want to work on, like the pressure of wanting it to like look good for other people, or people expect it to look good, then you just become like lazy. I wouldn't say it's lazy lah. Some people will put it as like lazy. You just become like reluctant to work on it. Yeah. And then eventually it will just like pile up, and then it will become like burnout. And even burnout itself is a pressure.
It's a very big thing.
Or it contributes more to my insecurity in like my creative work.
Right.
Yeah. So I think that's like one of the biggest factors that even myself right now I'm like facing.
Right. So for like the general experiences that we've talked about so far, personally, what do you think are some factors that kind of contribute to your insecurities? Is it like, it could be like, you know, peers, or like your parents or your friends, like inflicting pressure, or maybe even yourself, kind of just like giving yourself that pressure?
Yeah, definitely for me is myself lah. You know, I always try, you know, I always want to be the best. You know, I always try to make it my work to be perfect, to be well planned out. You know, yeah. Again, for my kids, for my parents, they're actually very supportive lah to what I've done, and they really want me to achieve and strive better for what my passion is. Yeah. So for friends, not my friends, they're okay. They're not pressurizing me or anything. Yeah. So yeah. Like I said, for me, I really want to do my best. I really want to achieve perfectism for my work. Yeah, because from what I see on the industry outside, you know, their standards are way high, and I want to get there. I want to get on that level, but I don't know how I can do that. You know, looking at tutorials, yeah, sure, but like that's me just quote unquote following the video, right?
Like you feel like you're copying.
I'm copying. I'm not learning anything. So yeah, the pressure the pressure is there. You know, why am I not doing well enough? You know, why am I still plateaued on this level? I want to be better. I should be better by now. You know,
right? Just like feeling like, but I feel like, I guess like your competence, like I feel like your competence shouldn't be determined by the amount of like time that you put in. I feel like you should just like let it go. So, because I think one thing that I've also always felt that is like, oh shit, like let's say I finish work at like 5 p.m, right? Because I just like naturally work faster. But then like my friend is like, oh, I'm still like doing my work and like it's already 12 a.m. Then I'm just like, oh shit, am I like more incompetent, or because I work less hard? Or like, is it just because like I sleep earlier and I finish my work earlier, that means I'm less hardworking? Like I feel like that is definitely a factor. Like just me, I don't know what that is. Like maybe it's just me being like, I guess it is an insecurity, more of like a factor. But like yeah, and I believe like I don't know, just like I think I give myself a lot of the pressure also, like cause I think a lot of people, they are just like, okay, like you know how everybody always says like nobody cares as much as you think. I feel like I always do that. Not even just like in my creative work, but personally, I always feel like people care more than they actually do. Cause in my mind, I'm just like feeling these obsessive thoughts and just like, oh, like people think I'm shit or da 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 da. But I feel like people are just like, no, we don't care. We don't know who you are. Like, so yeah, I think that feeds also into my insecurities. Yeah, how about you?
I think
Nadhirah?
personally, okay, for myself, personally, like, for me, I have a pretty big social media presence.
Oh.
I would say that kind of, but
Like
yeah,
what,
I'm
your
not gonna
stray
say.
kid? Oh.
I'm not gonna say what is
Okay.
it, but like yeah, the thing is like, I tend to like everyone online. Like, I would say like everyone like I would say like my followers or like my
Twitter is
friends.
Twitter. Oh my god.
My friends all like kind of say like, you know, your art is good, but then that pressures you to make more good content, right? And regarding to what they want or
Right.
what you are creating for your own content, so that kind of like creates like a split between work and my own personal work. So if like for work I happen to like get like a critic or like about my work, I tend to like don't I would try to take it well, but then like I'm sorry if I'm not making any sense.
No, it's
It's like everyone online or everyone of your friends, they say that oh your work is good, but then one word by someone else in like regarding like what you're working for is like it puts me down. So I think that really contributes a lot to my insecurities lah. So like it's like everyone here is like, oh, you're super good at what you're doing, but that's just subjective because that's like what I create the content for. Then like for work it's like for something else. Then like I don't know how to like put it lah, because
Right.
like
I think I get what you mean.
you want to do like a variety, you know.
Like you're doing the difference is that you're doing something that you want to do, but
Yeah.
from someone else telling you what to do to
Yeah.
produce.
It's like kind of like it feels like your hobby is now a job. It feels like you need to deliver instead of just like doing what I want. Yeah. I guess like we've talked about this before. So it's like, is it? I mean, cause like, you know, creative work is like there's a very thin line because we definitely all enjoy creative work, whether it's like animation, motion graphics, music, drawing, or whatever. Right? It's all because we enjoy doing this. That's why we want to do it long term, and that's why we want to like pursue a career. But then the other thing is like, oh, like if I pursue my hobby as my career, right, it might affect me in the long run. Because I know a lot of people, they are just like, oh, I strictly just want to keep this as like a hobby so that I don't get burned out or whatever, like, you know. And yeah, what do you think about that?
Okay. Wait.
Yeah, just think.
Yeah, I think for myself, it's something I've been facing a lot recently because I'm not used to having someone telling me what to do in terms of like work and like based on like anything that has to do with my creative work lah. Based on anything that I do, I'm not used to having someone telling me what to do. So this was kind of like a shock to my productivity rate. So ever since like splitting between like my own work and like create like work at work, it just kind of like it really affected my productivity rate in doing my own personal projects, because like okay, your work at work has to be like really good, you know what I mean, because it's like the professional side of things, and then like your own work is also like, you know, your own stuff. But then it kind of like affected both ways. Am I making sense?
Yeah, I get what you mean. Okay, I guess like, yeah, I mean, and a lot of people like they experience self-doubt. It's not exclusive to just us, like, you know, it's not exclusive to just like the media industry or just creatives. Everyone goes through self-doubt and like inferiority, and it's very human. Like I said, it's very common also. And yeah, but what do y'all think personally is like differences that like, I guess like the insecurities you face ever since like you started doing creative work, like you started like let's say when you joined poly or what, or when you started picking up drawing or whatever, what do you think is the insecurities that you have dealt with within the media industry and outside of the media industry? Let's say from your previous jobs, or if you don't have like from primary school, secondary school, or whatever. What do you think are the differences?
Well, one thing is that in secondary school and primary school it's very systematic lah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you definitely know at what, you know, how
Where I should be better lah.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I know I suck at maths, so
Yeah.
at least I know that.
I can go for tutor, I can go for
Exactly,
tuition.
yeah. But for media, it's like there's so many things going on. Yeah.
And there's no tuition.
It's
Like, how do I be better when it's all subjective?
Yeah. You know, sure, you can watch videos about it, like how people, doing things that are similar to what you're doing now, but their workflow is so much different, and because they know what they're doing. For me, I'm speaking for myself lah. I definitely don't know what I'm doing,
but does anybody actually know what they're doing though? Exactly. So I'm just like,
you just kind of have to find your own workflow.
Yeah.
But that will take like a very steep learning curve.
I think we think the people who are like offering tutorials online, we think that they are like professionals because they have put in the time to like, I guess. But I don't think they are just like, oh, I'm pro, like I know what I'm doing. I think it's like, I think it's more of like they kind of like have like put in so much time to master it technically.
They've kind of like dedicated like many years to just mastering what they are doing. Like for us, we're just like starting off.
And I think even when they record the tutorials, it's just like as they go. You know what I mean?
It's like natural for them. But I do agree that there are takeaways from the video, like the tutorials.
Definitely, for
that
sure.
can make your workflow a bit easier.
Yes, definitely, very helpful.
Yeah, but for me when it comes to industry, it's very difficult because standards are always there, and then like they don't know what your standards are. They always expect it to be high, but for us, we know where we stand, and we know how much work we can put out. For like Nadhirah said, like she had her own platform, right? I do also have our own platform lah. So it's also
are you all famous here?
Is it quite big? It's quite big, but I'm not gonna say what it is.
Oh my god, are you all famous?
My friends do know what it is. So,
OF.
No.
We're
Never
not,
put out myself out.
We're not revealing ourselves.
We're not revealing ourselves. Yeah, but definitely, there are lines between professional work and the ones that we like to do lah. So, as to reiterate back, for what for me and Nadhirah, for my case, when we're posting our own content, though, we create our own ideas. We know what we look out for. When it comes to posting our own work. But for client-wise, we have to follow what they want. And then when
so true.
Yeah, when we try to follow and then they get back to us, this is not what we want. We want something else. This can be better. So and then sometimes they don't tell us how can it be better. It's up to us to figure out. And then when we try to figure out, they don't like it. They're like, no, this is worse. And then you start to like, think deeply about like what am I doing wrong, and then it's taking a lot of energy, taking a lot of your time, and then definitely there are deadlines as well. So I'm not saying that the clients don't understand, but I'm just saying that it's just hard lah for us.
Well, I think circling back to what you said, right, is like the thing with deadlines. I feel like what separates a career and a hobby is like with career, there's like deadlines you have to like deliver, and it's like people are clamping down on you with deadlines and opinions and critics. But when you're doing a hobby, you can learn at your own pace, and also like you don't really need to like submit to any deadlines or whatever. So I think that helps. But what do you think? Like, what are the differences?
Pretty much the same. This like I'm so sorry.
No, just take your time. Take your time. We can be here.
I mean like circling back to what Shah said before, basically like everything before I joined the media industry is pretty much systematic and like kind of like done for you. Like the teachers are there to guide you to do this and that, but everything is about nothing about media industry, you know what I mean? Everything is about everything else, like English, your basic subjects. Then like suddenly being introduced into the media industry and then suddenly having the standards like what Shah said is like a big jump from what we've learned. Like the expectations in school were like really low. And like they don't expect too much from you because they know that you're still learning. And then right now as you're like in a company, like you kind of have to like I think what Shaz mentioned also, like you are also the face of the company.
Representing the company.
You're representing the company, and then like
Or even when you're in school, you're representing the school.
Yeah, representing the school. But then they know that you're representing the school because you're still like young and you're still learning. And because like we're kind of like at that age where we kind of
still
like
more WIP.
WIP more in the works of becoming more independent.
Yes.
Yeah.
Going back to the social media presence again, you're all too like famous, right? So like like what if when people are just like, oh, like if you are what, right, then if you only if you do this, then you are professional. Only if you do this, that, and the third, then like, oh, you are legit and you are professional. Like, how do we not take things personally? Because we did talk about this with Vesna before, like not taking things personally. How do y'all think we should like? Yeah, you know what, like what you say can't affect me. Like what these expectations or like these standards that you set upon me or like you set me up with. Like how do we not take this personally, basically?
Okay. Well,
for like me, what helps with you guys?
Okay, yeah. So, okay, for what I do is that I, when people say things like that, right? Like I say, I always review them, lah. No matter how bad it be, no matter how much it can affect you, you have to face it, lah. You know, especially as a content creator, right? It always comes. It always comes. You know. Yeah. So for me, how I handle it is that look at it, and then you ask yourself, am I this person? You know what they're trying to say, and then you go back to whatever community or you have, and then you ask them, what do they think about you, as a creative, and then when they give their own, the people that you trust or people that know you for so long, you get that feedback, and then you ask, and then you look through, and then if it's true, then okay, then you work on it, change it up, maybe maybe you have been posting, not saying that it's wrong, but posting like R18 content for like the past few weeks, and then people are like tired of saying it, or people are like, oh, I want to see your old content back or something. Yeah, maybe try to stick back and then look through and then see if it's true, and then if it's not, then keep on doing what you're doing. Again, I never have taken things personally when it comes to my work, because I really accepted the fact that they know what they
Actually, no, we did talk about this yesterday, right? Okay, should we bring it up? Anyway, sure. Like, I guess yesterday me and like Syaz briefly talked about like this. It was like, oh, do you think you care? Like, and then he was like, nah, I don't think I care about what people say. But then like he was like saying, I was like, and then he like brought up a few facts, and then I was like, oh, like, do you think then maybe is it because like you actually don't care, like what everybody says, that I'm gonna do my own thing, or is it like because you care too much to the fact that you are numb? Like you said, you were numb, right?
Yeah,
like, is it because you care too much that it's like, I'm already shit anyway, so whatever, so be it.
Yeah.
Is that why you think you don't care?
Yeah, that's why. Yeah. So,
no, but that's like not healthy though.
But it's not affecting me in any way though.
No, because you have been numb to it.
Exactly. So I'm already numb. So what else am I gonna feel?
I mean, okay, you do.
So yeah, I always, like I said just now, I always turn it to something over a new leaf. See it as a constructive feedback.
Right.
Improve on yourself. There's always room for improvement. It's such a cliche thing. Yeah. So for me, there are a lot of people who come and go and then say this kind of thing, like, then I'm numb to it. Like, what, I accept the fact that I am this kind of thing, and it's up to me. I have my own power to change whatever I want it to be, whether to be better or obviously aim for better lah. Yeah. So that's pretty much what I have to say lah. Cause like what Ray had said just now pretty much sums up what I felt. I was numb. That's all. I'm just a hollow shell now.
Yeah, but how about you, Nadhirah?
Wait, what was the question again?
Like, how do you not take things personally?
Oh, how do I take things?
Like people always say like, oh, this is like, how do you not take it personally?
Oh, for me, I have a very like funny way of like coping with it. First, I would complain about it to myself.
Right.
I don't complain like publicly. Like usually, I just like talk to myself or like complain to some friends like, what is this happening?
Yeah.
But then afterward, I will like
reflect
back on it, because some people work differently. Like some people need to vent out their the anger or something like that. But for me, I'll just like talk about it for a while, then I'll just like think back and reflect lah. Like what Shah said, just like basically just it's up to you whether you want to like listen to them or not. Yeah. So even if you want to listen to them, you can. Then you can try to better yourself towards
take it as constructive.
Yeah,
lah.
take it as constructive, like critique. Yeah. I mean, it's normal for us to like kind of like complain to others. Like we are not like robots.
Yeah, it's normal.
Yeah.
I think like we all do it lah, whether it is like because of work or whatever, and it's like normal. But as long as you don't go online and be like, wow, like you know what I mean.
Yeah.
As long as like you just do it in your circle.
For me, when I like complain and stuff, I don't really go to like a very
dark place,
raging kind of like points.
Nah,
I just like then done.
But I guess for me, how I don't take things personal is just like, honestly, I don't like I feel like when I take things personal, right, people cannot tell that I do, because like after that, then I'm just like, wow, shit, do they really think that way or whatever? Sometimes it's just like passing as a joke, but then I'm just like, but I don't think people can tell. But for me, I think how I don't take things personal after that is just like you are like, I would like talk to my friends about it and then just try and get perspective, because you know sometimes people really aren't trying to be like mean about it lah. They're actually trying to like help and like, but maybe the way that they phrase it or say it could be better. But then I just have to put things into perspective and be like, okay, this is why they did that. You know, it's not because of me, it's because like they're trying to help me be better, but it's just the way that they thought. I just like, you know, and I accept that like people are different and like people can like say things differently, or people like just people have different mannerisms, and I've accepted that, and I think that helps me to not take things so personal. So because it's just like, one, the world does not revolve around me, so not everybody has to like cater to like my way of like accepting criticism or whatever. But like, yeah, and I just always like accepted that like, you know, like it's not that deep. I think that's like, okay, then okay, so according to an article written by Crystal Rapol for Healthline that was medically reviewed by Dr. I might butcher this name, but Dr. Vera Ceribelli, who is a licensed psychologist in Chicago. Are you ready? This is going to be a big mouthful and I'm going to look at the teleprompter. But imposter feelings represent a conflict between your own self-perception and the way others perceive you. Even as others praise your talent, you write off your success as timing and good luck. You don't believe that you've earned them on your own merits, and you fear that others will eventually realize the same thing. Consequently, you pressure yourself to work harder in order to, 1, keep others from recognizing your shortcomings or failures, 2, become worthy of roles you believe you don't deserve, 3, make up for what you consider your lack of intelligence, and last but not least, ease feelings of guilt over tricking people. The work you put in can keep the cycle going, and your further accomplishments don't reassure you. You consider them nothing more than a product of your efforts to maintain the illusions of your success, and any recognition that you earn, you regard as sympathy or pity, and despite linking your accomplishments to chance, you take on all the blame for any of your mistakes that you made, and even minor errors can reinforce your belief in your lack of intelligence and ability. Over this time, you know, this can fuel as a cycle of like anxiety, depression, or guilt. And living in a constant fear of discovery, you strive for perfection in everything that you do. You might feel guilty or worthless when you can't achieve it, burnt out, or even overwhelmed by your continued efforts. And there are mainly 5 types. The perfectionist, the natural genius, the rugged individualist or soloist, or the expert and the superhero. I won't go into super detail with like the types, but y'all can go read it. I will link it in the bio of like SoundCloud or what, YouTube or yeah, so you guys can go and like read up on it. It's like a very informative piece. So yeah, you guys can go read up on it if you all like want to know more. But there is no single clear cause of imposter feelings. It's more like a number of factors that are combined to trigger them, and some potential underlying causes might be parenting and childhood event. Like let's say if your parents pressured you to do well in school, or they compared you and all your siblings, or if you have or they were controlling or overprotective, or they emphasize your natural intelligence. Wow, you damn smart, or like sharply criticize mistakes or academic success in childhood, and could also contribute. Like if let's say school was super easy for you and you received a lot of like praise from like your mentors, like your teachers or like your parents, but then in like let's say JC or poly you struggled for the first time, and then you might begin to like believe that your classmates are more intelligent, or like they're more gifted, or they're more talented, and then you might worry that, oh, I don't belong in this course, I don't belong in poly, I don't belong in JC. Or like another one could be personality traits like perfectionistic tendencies, low self-efficacy, low self-efficacy or confidence in your ability to manage your behavior and successfully handle your responsibilities, higher scores on measures of neuroticism and lower scores on measures of conscientiousness. Others are like if you have you already have existing mental health symptoms, or if you come into a new responsibility, which is applicable if you're creative, because like, you know, when we first start out, this is like a new responsibility to us. It's like we are like a stranger to like this like industry, and then we're just like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing, or I'm a fraud, you know what I mean? And I mean, after reading this article myself, I think that it kind of like explained a lot to me about my imposter feeling.
I feel like I faced this quite a few times. Like, for example, like back in school, sometimes like there will be people who are like better than you when it comes to like what you like to do, and sometimes it might not even be something that they like to do. So, like for example, like
But they're naturally gifted.
yeah, you know,
Right.
like you know what I mean. Like for example, like in school, like they are better at for example, like something like they like a different module or a different medium. Like for example, like they like 3D, but or they like doing other things but you like doing, like for example, concept art.
Mm-hmm.
Then the thing is, you do your concept art and then you're happy you like it, but then sometimes this person, even though they don't do concept art and all that, they still did better than you. Yeah, so that's why like sometimes I think to myself like, oh my gosh, am I like worthy of doing this? Like then I'm like, wow, this person, even though they're so like naturally gifted at what they're doing, so I'm constantly thinking about my own worth. Yeah. So and then like I tend to like try to work harder to try to improve and reach to a certain level even right now, like people who are like much younger than us also are actually doing a lot better in terms of
which is good lah.
Yeah.
We're not like which is good.
which is good, but it gives us a lot of competition.
Yeah,
if you
and
know
it
what I
also makes me feel like, wow, they mastered it at like 16 or 17. I'm 19 now. Doesn't mean I should quit, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It gives a lot of competition because now everyone at a younger age, they are learning all these things.
Yeah.
So it gives me this kind of like mentality that, am I like worthy enough of continuing doing what I'm doing? Yeah. So it gives a lot of like pressure, and then eventually lead to burnout which contributes more to that, you know, the imposter syndrome and also my insecurities.
Okay, so I guess like the next point is like, were there any like tipping points, be it like your imposter feelings or like whatever insecurities it is that like you almost felt like, well, I cannot like do this anymore. I have to like maybe this is not for me.
I guess there's like a lot of times where I doubt myself, like whether I'm like in it for what in this like creative field, because you know this creative field can be really competitive.
Yeah.
And sometimes like if you can't keep up or if you can't produce what the audience likes, or produce like a variety of like options for people to look at, sometimes you kind of like give up. Yeah, I mean there's like a few times where like sometimes you're just like, I can't do this anymore, but then like it's only for like a short while, because like I know that this is something that I'm like interested in doing, and this is something that I want to do, and you are bound to like face these kind of things because it's the creative industry. Like you're bound to face this kind of thing, so sometimes you gotta just like suck it up and like move on and like continue doing what
like what I said like never forgetting like why you do this in the first place, and like never forgetting your roots. And how about you, Syaz?
Yeah, for me, there were breaking points. But to me, for me is that the biggest one was during year 2 in poly, which is last year basically. Yeah, so it was when we started the first time we started work from home, right? That was the biggest change. And and
because it's just you and your thoughts alone.
Yeah, and then like there were so many distractions at home. You see your bed and you're like, I'm not.
But is that tipping point though?
I'm not done yet.
Okay.
That contributed to the fact that it was making me more lazy to do work.
Right.
Yeah, and then to the point where there was we had this it's the last part of assignment. I was doing a 3D model, and it was so ugly. It was
He's so patterned.
so ugly. almost made me want to drop out. I'm not gonna lie. Really, I was.
Were you tempted? Were you like?
It was in my mind.
Oh no!
I talked to my lecturer about it. I said that year was too much. It was. Yeah, I was breaking down, bro.
I think I agree with you because like year 2 was like the year where most of our assignments start to pile up.
Yeah.
And suddenly COVID hits. Yeah.
It's like year 1 was like intro, then year 2 is like with COVID, we also have like all these like things, and then like your lecturers also expect you because you year 2, like you should be familiarized, you should do this kind of thing, and then your peers are also like going up, and you're just like, wait, but I'm not there yet. Like, wait, like hold up, let me catch up, you know.
Because of the work from home
Yeah.
stuff, then like going into like maybe work also.
Yeah.
Maybe we feel like we are not prepared enough because of what happened last year lah.
Yeah, I think for me, when like times where I felt like, wow, maybe I cannot do this was like when like I really like when I took like when I just like been inside like my work too much. Why did I do this? But like like when I've been inside my work like too much, you know what I mean? Like it's like I keep doing it, and then I'm just like, because like when you keep doing it, right, like you're gonna like tire yourself out, you know, you're gonna tire your brains, you're gonna tire like whatever it is, like your creative juice, like you know. And then I think that's when I'm just like, wow, maybe I'm just not made for this, and maybe I'm just like not talented enough. But it's like, no, I think like a break would have helped, or like a break did help. So yeah, that's for me. But like, I mean, insecurities are always gonna like, it's always gonna be there, it's always gonna be lingering. But like, how do you guys personally cope when you've had like, I guess, your tipping points, or like your insecurities, or like whatever? Like, how do you guys like cope? I think for me, like what I've said is like taking a break definitely helps. Like when I like just like step away from my work a bit, and then after that when I come back, I'm just like, wow, I actually have a lot of ideas now. Then I just like do, or like when I just like kind of like keep to myself for a bit. Like, okay, what I do is like I go to this ocean place, and then I always like just like, honestly, I don't know why, like it might be super like fake art hole of me, but like I always like listen to like the waves, and then I just like look at the waves go. And then like the wind is blowing, right? I just feel like, I don't know, I just feel like energized, like I'm ready to do it again. And then like, yeah, I think for me it's like always just take a break, go to like your happy place, and then just like take a break from like what everybody's saying. Like because sometimes like I agree that like criticism can be constructive and it can be helpful, but when there's like too many cooks in the kitchen, it can get very like busy. So I just like, yeah, I think for me, just like remind myself like where I come from, why I'm doing this, and then take a break, and then like just chill, and then just go back after in with like an open mind. That's important. Like have to go back in with an open mind. That I think is like important for me. How about you all?
For me, I think the way I cope is that I try to remind myself, like you said, to take breaks, take lots of breaks. Think about your commitments, which one is more like important, because like other than creative work, you do have commitments that you have to like go to or attend to. You know, because like so you kind of have to like organize the way you work on things, especially with creative work. Yeah, I think like
attend to your hobbies lah.
I think like one thing is that you should do everything in like small bite size. Like, okay, this task you do first, and then this task you do next, and then this task. So it's a bit more, you feel a bit more organized about how you go ahead with your creative work lah. So then everything won't feel so overwhelming. Yeah, and then you won't have that. You are not bound to face an insecurity, which is like, you know. Yeah, you know,
can avoid it more lah.
You can avoid it more lah, because you're more organized. Like, for example, like, okay, you get this done before you send to the client, and you have more time to actually work on the changes for the day.
But then like what you said, attending to hobbies, right? But then it can be hard sometimes, because like this is our hobby, you know, like what we're doing is our hobby. So it's like, how do we differentiate that?
I think one of the most saddest thing is that like after starting to work, I start to kind of lost the fact that work and my own stuff, like I don't have time to attend. Like
you stop like drawing less, like in your own free time, right?
You start working more towards for work, not for yourself. So That's why sometimes I can feel a bit burnt out with like creative concepts, especially on my own stuff that I want to work on. But then sometimes you would think that because it's client work will give you a better like portfolio for yourself. So usually I just feel like maybe work is more important because like you will build up a good portfolio because you've done client work. But then at the same time, personal work is also just as like important as like your work stuff because it shows what you make. You know,
yeah, and it's like obviously you're having fun with it also, which is like the most important. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, like what your guys mentioned, always take a break, blah 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 blah, and then no, I mean, okay, for me, right. So the question was, how do I cope it, right? Yeah. So for me, okay, I know I know it can be seen that I'm very shallow, but legit, no, like
he's not.
I'm really not. I'm actually a really nice person. Kidding.
Nice and shallow are different things, but okay.
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, so during how I coped during that breaking point, the tipping point was I tried to take a break, but in India I couldn't because it was a school period. So I ended up going through it. It was hard. It was definitely hard
Just biting the bullet.
Yeah, just thinking about it, it's just making me angry. It was very hard, and then but I ended up telling my lecturer about how I felt about
talking to someone
Talking to someone, it definitely helps It may not be for everyone, but for me I recommend it your lecturers, especially in the school, would definitely understand, especially now with the COVID thing going on. This pandemic is making everyone hard so the school is definitely trying to how do I say, cater it to the students They don't want students to like drop out or whatever and stuff like this. So talk to your lecturers. Your friends probably share the same feelings as you. Share with them. Talk to each other about it.
Bond over this stuff.
Yeah, bond over this. I'm pretty sure like both of y'all can like find a solution together.
Yeah, know that you're not alone.
Yeah, no, you're not alone. There's a comfort zone right there. Definitely my friends also felt that way. Which is kind of relieving.
Yeah,
so
9 times out of 10, everyone will feel this way.
Back to the point where the one that we mentioned that you're not alone. So it's really you're not.
And that is common.
Yeah, it's really common. It's super.
That's why there's 3 people here talking to probably like you listening. It's like so many. But like.
And like listening to each other, so it like it opens my eyes.
Yeah, it's like I get to like some stuff that I don't experience like you experience, and then some stuff that I don't experience like you experience. Like I guess it it's good that's why we have conversations like these, and like have conversations with like people like even professionals or like your mom, your dad, or like your friends or whoever, like people on the internet, or like you can talk to them like they are social media stars. But like anyways. I mean, okay, from your experience, then do you have anything that you want to say like to the people that might be facing the same thing? Just like in one sentence to like kind of wrap everything up.
I mean, they all said before already, so...
No, just like in one sentence.
Just one... Okay, Nadhirah, want to go first?
I must already say something now. Drink water. Yeah, but like really though, don't...
Drink water, please. I love you.
But really though, I think it's important for everyone to like take breaks often.
Yes.
Put everything into like small bite size when you're doing work so that I mean this is just for like when you're doing work, but like if you do this, there's a higher chance that you can avoid like an insecurity.
How are you?
Self-care.
Self-care is the best care.
It's very important. So you may not realize it. Like when was the last time that you take a look at yourself and like ask yourself, am I okay?
You do that often?
No, I don't. Take a break and take care of yourself. Yourself is self-care is very important. Mental health is also important. Please, I beg you, take care of yourself.
Yes, and seek professional help if you need.
We will leave the number down below in the description box below.
But like I think I would say just remember, I know it's super fucking cliche and I said it so many times in this episode, but remember where you've come from. I mean, who the fuck are we to like be giving advice? But like from our experience, this is like or we went through, but like, yeah, just remember where you've come from and know that you're not alone is so important. I think when I realized in my life that I wasn't the only one going through this, right, it really, really just like was an epiphany for me. It was like, oh my God, like I'm not the only person with problems and you definitely are not. So yeah, just like, yeah, just stay on, babes. You are worth it. Okay, thank you everyone for listening to Tea Talk with AMC. If you're listening to this on SoundCloud, do follow us there. And if you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe to us. And you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at AMC_studios. Bye! Bye! Thank you, Syaz and Nadhirah for joining us. Bye-bye!